Hello, hello. Awesome. All right, let's get this party started. Hello, everyone. My name is Asia Thompson, and welcome back to another Black Recess Cipher. Let me get this right. Welcome back to another Black Recess Detention Cipher event. In these events, take a look at the culture or media, and we do a deep dive spiritual analysis to see what we see. Make sure the mic is on. Okay, to see, oops, sorry, see the through lines and similarities between mainstream culture and the spiritual journey. So sit back and relax. Tonight we're going to be watching The Grinch. How the Grinch Stole Christmas. And it's going to be the 1966 version. So I will be treating this like a director's cut commentary event. So I will pause and give my commentary whenever I see fit. All right, so let's begin.
Say goodbye to Slack because chat's here and it's inside ClickUp. Everything you need in chat is here.
And no, I don't have YouTube Premium, so bear with me. Let me pause this. What's going on with this? What's going on with the Wi-Fi here? Like, bro, you got to step your like, girl, get it together. Okay, let's try this again. Is this the Grinch?
It was a mighty gorgeous sunset. It was truly a beautiful sight. All the friendly small housetops of Whoville glowing bright in the changing light. All the Whos who lived here in Whoville paused and smiled as the sun sank down and the purple shadow of Mount Crumpet crept across the farmlands beyond the town. It was a mighty peaceful sunset until old Josiah happened to sniff, and he whispered to his wife, "Mariah, will you also take a whiff?" And Josiah and Mariah double sniffed. And they said,
I wonder if...
But they really didn't wonder. They knew it was terribly true. They knew that the sour, sweet wind was coming back, and what the sour, sweet wind would do.
In...
Hold on. 'Cause what's the lag about? I'm not lagging. And we not gonna do the lag now. We're not gonna do the lag. All right, let's start this again.
Side children.
Let's hit the headphones.
I suggest we stay indoors tonight. I suggest we lock ourselves in tight. Tonight, you know, won't go quite right. You can tell by the smell of the wind. It sounds like another one's coming. Another Grinch night might commence. I wouldn't go out on a night like this for $1.50. Always starts when that sour sweet wind begins a howling. Sour sweet wind across the tree stumps on the wrong side of Punker's Pond. Then that wind wakes up the Gree Grumps from their sleep inside the tree stumps, and all the Gree Grumps start a growling. And that growling and that howling runkles and grunkles up the pond. And that's why I'm suggesting to all you ladies, kids, and gents, I wouldn't go out on a night like this for $2.50. 'Cause when old Punker's Pond gets runkled by that howling and that growling, that always disturbs the Hackencracks. And the Hackencracks start a yowling. And the yowling of the Hackencracks, plus that runkling, drunklin, howling, growling, always irritates the Grinch. And then that Grinch starts in a brawling. So I suggest we stay indoors tonight. Our problems are immense. I wouldn't go out on Grinch night for $6.60. It's a wonderful night for eyebrows. Max? Oh, where is he? Max! It's a wonderful night for eyebrows. It's a wonderful night for teeth. It's a wonderful night for Grinch night. Their troubles will now commence. Oh, I wouldn't stay home on a night like this for $60.60. Max, Max, go bring the paraphernalia wagon.
The paraphernalia wagon. Okay, so the first spiritual analysis that I make is that we all know the saying that misery loves company, right? But misery also has an origin story. And I know that in the Grinch movie with Jim Carrey, they went further into the lore of the Grinch, and we saw that he was picked on and made fun of by his peers because of how different he looked. when he was in grade school. And I can't remember if they did a deep dive in his origin story here as well. But they're doing a good job demonizing him. But we all know there's a reason why the Grinch loved terrorizing people, but we'll find that out later.
While Max was obeying his master's command in the cave on Mount Trumpet's bleak peak, the sweet sour wind swazzled over the land. And in the home of Josiah and his good wife Mariah, they just stood there, and no one could speak. Until finally Euchariah said,
Grandpa Josiah?
and Grandpa Josiah said,
Yes, Euchariah?
and Euchariah said,
Grandpa, we've stood and we've stood, and stooding just stooding produces no good. The least we could do is find out without doubt whether or not the Grinch is coming out. And so I suggest we don't stood here like sticks. Call the Grinch Alarm Center. Dial area code 519006.
Excellent suggestion, Euchariah. Area code 519006. Line's busy. Very busy. Ah, here he is.
This is not a recording. This is me in person. Your Grinch Alarm Warden, Sergeant Samuel S. McPherson. It is my duty to inform you if conditions improve or if they worsen. I have infiltrated his territory, keeping sharp eyes upon this schnook. And I'm focusing my focuseller to take still another look. Conditions are worsen.
hurry up, Max. I'm raring to go. I'm gonna be the guest of honor, an exclusive Grinch I know. Gonna be the only dancer in the Whoville Town Hall. I might enter the ball quite small, or I might go in quite tall. But I assure you nobody, but nobody, is gonna dance with me at all when I enter front and center at the exclusive Grinch Night Ball. Ha-ha! Ready? Giddy up, Maxie! Ha 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 ha!
Attention, attention all who's. This is Sergeant McPherson, and conditions, I'm afraid, are now worser than worsen.
How many times have I said and said? How many times have I said in my head, what am I doing here? Why am I the slave of this Grinchy old crock? And I say how I wish I could turn back the
I'm feeling like I never really seen the 1966 girl. We watching the wrong film. Now Halloween is Grinch night. I was like, I do not remember this. Girl, wait. I'm like, hold on. Where is Cindy Lou Who at? Girl, girl. And they talking about this some old bullshit. Girl, girl.
ready to hatch some cool pets.
Oh, uh,
Click here.
okay, like I said, we was watching a long video. I don't know to detail why his heart is. If we talk about him being made fun of in school. All right. Oh my God. Hey, y'all can look at me.
Detalle
Oh
hace una
my God.
gran Navidad. Banco
So far, the only reason why he's still in Christmas is because he hate all the noise and obnoxiousness of the holiday. Which I can understand, being an empath, introvert myself, too much noise can, it do something to my nerves. You know what I'm saying? But I remember again, I felt like the one with if the Jim Carrey Grinch wasn't so long, we would have watched that. But I remember in that one, it wasn't just the noise, it was the fact that everybody was being fake. Like every other day of the year, y'all steal, y'all lie, y'all shifty, y'all are mean, very elitist, classist. But all of a sudden on this day, y'all can all find a way to all come together and connect, but still in a very superficial way, right? Because he was like, it's not about community, it's about the family. It's about, you know, how many gifts you can give someone. And that was the thing too. It's like in this one, is it about the holiday or is it just about the things? But I'm pretty sure he wasn't thinking all that. He was just like, y'all gonna. So with the Jim Carrey Grinch, they treated the Grinch character like the Joker or even like Maleficent, where they humanized the villain and gave rhyme to their reasons, so it didn't just seem like they were being cruel. But in this one, right, I'm seeing this as an example of people who do everything to stand in front of the chosen one's path. They withdraw their love, they withdraw their support, they even withhold things. Um, if your chosen ones tend to attract a lot of narcissists, and narcissists will use material things in order to form a codependent relationship with chosen ones, just making it seem like they support you and they're there for you. And whenever you need something, just call on them. Then when you call on them, they like to like dangle the resources in front of your face and make you dance like a puppet in order to receive the support. So, it comes a time when the scapegoat or the energy supply of the narc decides that I'm just gonna go without. I'm gonna go without. It's fine. I'm gonna find my own light, find my own path. And narcs or the Grinch, they kind of just wait for the moment that you call them and you say, you know what, I need you. wait for the moment that you fall flat on your face. And so I feel like in this rendition of the Grinch, he's the narc. Who would have thought he's actually a narc? He went through all that, stealing them people's stuff, lying to them, and they still was like, it's all good. We're still gonna have Christmas with or without the things. You didn't stop no show over here. Say, unlike other narcs, he came to his senses. He realized, all right, look, my shenanigans didn't work. I misjudged the situation. These people really do value community. They have a strong root chakra, a strong sense of self, and they don't need the material things to determine their sense of security. They are fine without it. And so, it's like, let me just return the things, save the things, or let me not further ruin these people's day. Not all narcs, you know, come to that self realization. But, we all have our shadow aspects. Sometimes we can look at people in their joy and in their light and assume that they're faking it or assume that they are being performative because of our own personal despair or misery. We think that can't nobody possibly be that happy or that grateful to be alive. And then when you look a little closer and you do more observation and you see their journey, you start to realize, like, oh, okay, I guess it is a possibility to be content without the things. And you feel inspired. And I wish that people on the outside that watched light workers traverse through the storms and still come out beaming, I wish they would be inspired instead of continuing to send shots and continuing to be devilish and hateful. I wish they would just follow suit and find their own. I'm gonna pose a question to the collective. And this rendition of the Grinch, he steals your things. He realizes you're fine without the things. He returns the things. Are you giving him a piece? You breaking him off a piece of the Who Hatch? Of the roast beasts? It's a chop for the end. Yay. Very short, sweet, to the point. I didn't want to hold y'all long. This is a hopeful message that I don't know. This is where I have like a love-hate relationship with cartoons because I mean cartoons are very reflective of human nature just because humans make them and in a lot of the endings there's always a glimmer of hope that people can change, people can evolve. That's the hope, that's the wish that people can actually learn from the errors of their ways and grow and become a better individual for it or because of it. But we live in an era where that's not always the case. As much as we would want it to be the case, as much as we would want people to change, to evolve, to not sulk in their misery, that's the reality for a lot of people. And I think that that has even been a harsh truth that I had to come to terms with on this journey. I had to learn that sometimes I'll be optimistic to a fault because I really do believe in humanity's ability to evolve, you know, by choice, not always by force. But hey, another thing about this special is that nobody made him change. Nobody was like, hey, maybe you shouldn't be such an asshole. Like, nobody forced him to do better. He wanted better for himself. He decided that enough was enough, and he made the choice personally to stop the cycle of misery through his own observations, through his own efforts. And that's a huge message for light workers. You cannot force people to change. They have to be willing to change on their own. The only thing that you can do is continue to be your most authentic self. Continue to affirm yourself and your self worth, regardless of what your external circumstances may look like. Because through your resilience and perseverance, people can be inspired to change. And that's, I think, the bigger overarching lesson from the Grinch is the inspiration. All right. Well, it's been real. I enjoyed this little talk. I enjoyed that it wasn't too long. And until next time, stay prayed up and strapped. And I hope to see you all again. All right. Bye.